Hi, Dan from DJMoore Lofts, and today I'm going to showcase a 2-in-1 Velux window. So this is the brand new Velux window that coming out in March 2023. So if I show you now, this is what we're referring to. So it's a 2-in-1, so you've got a fixed and an opener. This window's the MMK08, which is basically 1510 millimeters wide by 1400 high, GGLS. So this one is a Velux Integra window. So this basically means that you can control the window via a switch that comes with the window itself, or there is add-ons such as Velux Active, and there's this new control switch that is just about to come out as well, which will allow you to basically control your phone from your smartphone. Control your window from the smartphone. So yeah, so it's just a little bit more modern, so it gives you the ability to be a little bit more technology friendly, if you like. So the lads are just setting up. We've just prepped, got the hole, stripped the tiles, so we're just folding over the felt now. So the next stage will be opening up the new 2000 flashings. Now we actually already opened this one up by mistake because we fitted the 3-in-1 yesterday and we picked up the wrong flashings for it downstairs. So we brought it up, started to use it, and didn't work out why it didn't work. Obviously, if you want to check that video out as well, we have got the 3-in-1 Velux that you can see over here that was installed yesterday, and there is a standalone video for that one, as well as this Poly SK06. But you'll see here, so Jamie's just picking out the insulation collar. So now this flashing kit is what's called a 2000 kit. So basically what you do is you get your normal flashing kit as well as the BDX and the BFX. And the BFX and BDX is basically, you get this felt collar. So this goes around the perimeter of the window, helping make it nice and watertight, as well as a metal gully over the top. And then what Jamie's putting together here is the insulation collar. Now the idea of the insulation collar is that it basically goes around the perimeter of the window, so it helps avoid cold spots, drafts. It actually helps with condensation and stuff like that as well. So in the colder months, sometimes we see where there's a little bit of water marking and stuff around the reveals. It's likely due to not being insulated correctly. Now these new flashing kits, I say new because they're not really new. You was always able to get these accessories, but that's what they were. They were an accessory, they were an add-on. Whereas now they've released a 2000 kit that basically has become the new standard. So you could order it before, but now it's become the new standard. So typically if you should order a new window now, after any stock's used up, I would suspect it will become the 2000 windows that would get 2000 flashings that would get sent out. But like I said, we're just going to drop this collar in, we'll get the window frame in, and then we can show you some bits and bobs and try and give you some tips and ideas on how to install the window. So you'll see here, we just got all the brackets out. Now on this window, there's 3 brackets, top and bottom. So you've got one left and right, one in the middle. And like I say, at the top, it's the same as well. Then you've also got these other smaller angled ones. And these basically go up the side. Typically where that red line is, I believe. So what we like to do is get the top and bottom brackets on, sit it in the window, and then whenever a batten lands is then where we'd fix the bracket, just to give that centre support so that the window doesn't bounce and move. Now on this window you can remove the fixed sash. Now if you were struggling for weight, you could do that. That'd be the only real reason that you would take it out, to be honest. You can flash it with it all in place without having to take it all out. There's just a trim that you have to disconnect at the bottom. Now to take that window out on the centre pivot one is basically you remove these little screws. Now be very careful. I would do it with a knife or something like that, or even your fingernails rather than a screwdriver, because they just mark up really easily. But yeah, you can take that fixed pane out if you needed to. On the top hung version of these windows, there is screws on this side, but as it's a centre pivot, we've only got those 6 internally. So you'll see now that we've got the frame installed, that drops down into that insulation collar that we set about. Now we've been able to measure ours pretty exact, which is pretty nice. It's like a 45mm gap, top and width that you would add. But what you can do on these is they give you the luxury of being able to pull off the back of the foam to give you a little bit more clearance. So if you are struggling and you've set it out at the wrong measurement, or you're doing a retrofit on an existing window and you're changing it, obviously you've got that luxury of being able to make them a little bit narrower. Also, another nice little addition is these little rubber mounts that we've got that sit on the bottom of the window to just help keep it nice and protected and tidy, just to minimise damage in the frame basically. So next step should be, I'm not telling them to suck eggs, but I expect them to be putting in the sash back in again basically, so that we can square up the frame, make sure it is nice and square. Now we're keeping the sash in, the fixed pane. I would expect it to be relatively square. It would be unusual, but if you was to take that out, then there is a tendency for the window to be able to come out square a little bit. So that's why you would then put the sash back in to make sure that the margins are good, which we'll show you in a second once they've been able to get it all hung back in. Nice. So you see here, this one is actually out of square. So now if we look at the very bottom, see that gap there to that top? Obviously the gap is completely different here. So what that says to me is this window top edge probably needs to go over a little bit, or at least that bottom edge needs to go over that way. So what we'll do is we'll open up the window, put the hop up back there, and we'll try and manipulate the frame to see if we can get it squarer and go from there. So we've just adjusted it. So we've just pushed that frame over at the bottom, and basically now you see that margin is a lot nicer. So it's nice and straight all the way down on both sides. So that now means that the window is nice and square. So what we can do is take the frame, take the glass back out, or the sash back out, and then we can then screw all the brackets up, which we're going to do now. So on most windows, well, on every window, it's pretty critical that you get the window nice and square. Just helps with not catching over a period of time as well, because obviously things do settle and move, and obviously that little bit extra tolerance just does help no end. As well as if you've got OCD like myself, I love everything to line up, so it would do my head in seeing a different little margin on it. So now we've got the sash back out, we can basically put the hop up back up, reach over and screw into all the brackets. So now you get to see Nathan put this felt collar around. So now the window's all screwed in. Basically what we've got is this felt collar that goes around the whole perimeter of the window. And the idea being is this new, well I say new, I keep saying new, it's not new, it's been there, they've had it for years. But the whole idea of the felt kit is effectively what it does is it wraps up underneath the existing felt at the top, like you can see here. So if water was to ever get in, it basically then deflects the water away to the left and right of the window, as opposed to, say, if you've got a leaking ridge or a cracked tile, that we've been to many of a job where the window looks like it's leaking, but it isn't. It's typically the ridge is cracked, or there's a broken tile or a slate above that's slipped. Water's getting onto the felt, and then it's finding the easiest route, which is typically where the window is then cut into the felt. So the idea of this new felt kit, God, I called it new again, it's not new. The idea of this felt kit is that basically it stops that. So when I say new, what I mean by is it's new that it comes with the flashing kits now, and it's the new pre-standard. It has always been the certified installer way that you should be using these felt kits and stuff like that, but Joe Public didn't really know so much about the 2000 kit or even the extra kits that you could get to basically give you a better install. But they're now putting this felt collar on around the edge. So this bottom flashing basically tucks under this little rubber we've got here. So it's got to be careful you don't pinch that or scratch it. Then we've then got these other little bits that basically slip underneath. So they go up underneath. Same thing up that underneath that rubber. He says. And then if we pull the rubber back, you'll see little holes. Yeah, mine look good. then these rubber caps that we just removed a moment ago basically go over and then cover that joint. Fits back in there, and then that covers that gap. And then on this outer perimeter, we have this one that goes on. We screw on place. And basically we've got one bit of side flashing, and then there's another cap that goes off it, and that sits in that, but we'll show you that in a sec. So as we touched on many of our videos, Velux are pretty good in the sense of they number every product that goes on. So it is like a jigsaw puzzle. Obviously, if you are struggling or our video doesn't turn out to be that great, Velux do have their very own detailed install of the window, so can always check that. We'll put a link into that one as well. This is just to give you an idea of what we're up against, which hopefully helps. On this side piece that goes up there, and then it slips in, making sure it clicks. That's it, pushed over and clicks in place. Lovely. And then basically what we'll do now is put these little clips on up the side to hold them in place, and we'll put this side flashing back on. So then we then put this trim back on top, which is nice. So because this one is a solar window, obviously it has a solar panel, but in this top right hand corner there's a little connector. So basically what we've got to do is connect that on now, before we put that top bit of flashing on, because then you won't get your fingers in there. Well, you may do, but I've got fat fingers and would struggle. So now we'll put the top section of flashing on. So we've got the sides in ready. So I've just given some measurements to Jay to start cutting the tiles up the side. And then basically we've got that one flashing along that goes there. And then we've then got the very top flashing, which is the last one, which the tiles overlap over. So you see there, that one's got the solar panel on. So this one should look very similar to that. I mean, the solar panel's actually really discreet. You wouldn't know, it's tiny, which is great. And then all the electrical gubbins for the actual electric part of the window is all in that black box there. Nice. So this is something that seems to be very specific to the 2-in-1 and 3-in-1, these little extra clips up here. Obviously, because this top flashing goes across, it's just another way of them fixing down and keeping solid, I guess, with the wind and stuff. And then same with here, we've got this little clip here that just screws in. I believe it's the black one. Is there a black one with a bigger head screw in there? That just keeps that nice and tight down there. And you should have a really long one. Got the top flashing, so then same like your normal windows, you've got these little bits here that just pop over. You give that a little love tap with your hammer. So we're just finishing off the tiling up the sides now, which is looking nice. And then we've just got the top tiles to put on. So I'm just going to jump around the back, and we'll jump inside and see what it's looking like. So yeah, we're just finishing off the tiling as we just showed you. So Jamie's just cutting some of the tiles now for the very top for us. Cheeky. Oh, look at it. So there's Lawson's, our supplier, and Velux, obviously Velux windows. So we normally try and bring our own cups to the jobs, just because then we're not damaging anyone's stuff like that. Especially these ones are pretty good because they're metal, so they don't damage. Here's the little wall control that comes with all the blinds and Integra windows now. Like I say, you can upgrade to what they call the active. but there is this other, I believe it's called the Touch now, which is basically a little bit more like the old school remote controls, where it's like a little screen, LCD screen, and there also is this little smart app section now that you can add so that your phone can control the window. But we'll just drop this sash in now, and then we'll get set up to basically control the window. This should be pretty much synced. As soon as I pull that little tag out there, she should work with the window already. So there is just a little connector in this box here that basically you have to lift up. Ooh. Try and do that. So that connector, basically connect that in, so that then puts the power into the motor and stuff. We'll put the sash in now, and then we'll see what happens when we try and press the remote control. Check what out. That is finished. She's installed. So if you want to do the honours, you pull it out. No, you do the honours. Come, pull it out. Oh. So now that we've pulled that little red tag out, we can basically now control the window. So if I push that button, you'll see here the window is opening. So that's all via this remote control. So then if I was to press the middle button, it will stop. And if I press the down button, she'll then close. So you can see her, she's now closing up. So if you can bear in mind, on this job, we've got a stairwell here, so you're going to struggle to actually reach it and open it. So it was quite ideal having a solar one because it's hard to reach. In the bathroom, we've got the solar version as well. As much as we can reach this one was designed so that we can have the active kit in here and stuff like that, so that it gives us the option to be able to make the room ventilate and stuff like that, especially with high moisture rate and stuff like that in the bathroom. But yeah. So another video done, another window fitted. Hopefully you like this one. Not forgetting, like I said, we have got the install video of this 3-in-1 and the SK06. But if you like what you see, you want to see us building and the journey of a loft conversion, by all means hit that bell button, hit the subscribe and leave us some comments, and we'll see you again in the next video. Enjoy your day.